Ernest Hemingway was arguably one of the greatest writers of the 20th century. But his life was a tragedy. He was born in 1899 and from an early showed great promise as a writer. He began writing stories and poems as a teenager, and by his early 20s he had become a journalist. His career took off when he moved to Paris in 1920s and became part of the Lost Generation, a group of American writers WHO disillusioned with the current state of the world. In Paris, Hemingway developed his signature style of writing, which was characterized by its simplicity and directness. He was also a voracious consumer of alcohol, smoking and sex. And it was here that he really developed his reputation as a bit of a badass. He fought in the Spanish Civil War and then moved to Cuba, where he lived for many years. It was in Cuba that he wrote some of his most famous works, including The Sun Also Rises, A Farewell to Arms, and For Whom the Bell Tolls. Hemingway was a man of contradictions. On the one hand, he was a journalist who was committed to the truth. But he was also a novelist who was willing to manipulate his characters and his plot in order to achieve a desired effect. He was a man who valued simplicity and directness, but he was also a man WHO could be incredibly self-indulgent. Hemingway's personal life was as dramatic as his writing. He was married 4 times, and his relationships with women were often tumultuous. He was also a heavy drinker and drug user, and his health began to deteriorate in his later years. Despite this, he continued to write until the end of his life. In 1961, at the age of 62, Ernest Hemingway took his own life. He had been suffering from clinical depression and had attempted suicide several times before. When he died, he left behind a literary estate that would eventually become the property of his son, Patrick Hemingway. Now, if you've been watching this channel for a while, then you'll know that we're big fans of Ernest Hemingway here. We've done several videos on his writing style, his books, and even his home. So why are we making a video about his tragic life today? Well, it is because we think that it is important to remember that even the greatest writers sometimes have the darkest of stories to tell. We hope that you enjoyed this video and that it gave you a new appreciation for the tragic greatness of Ernest Hemingway. Thank you for watching.